This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNN Live. We're coming to you live from the Sprott Symposium 2018 in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I'm doing a Wall Street view with Trevor Raymond from the World Platinum Investment Council. It's a private company. Trevor, welcome to SNN Live.
Shelley, thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today.
It's good to have you. What I'd like to do is get started with an overview of what you do in the council.
Certainly. Thank you, Shelley. So the World Platinum Investment Council is funded by 6 South African platinum mining companies. And the reason they set us up is that to build a platinum mine in South Africa costs about $2 billion. Takes about 7 years to come to fruition. And what those boards needed was demand certainty. So they started promoting platinum jewelry about 30 years ago, and that was extremely successful, 3 million ounces out of an 8 million ounce market. And they've set us up to promote platinum as an investment asset, and that's our role. We try to get people around the world to own platinum as an investment, make them understand the asset class, and make sure that there's the product that they need should they wish to invest in it.
So give me some history behind the council, platinum, the South African producers, etc.
Sure. So I think the interesting thing about platinum is that it's unique in that it comes from a very small geographic area in southern Africa. It's used in predominantly cleaning emissions out of motor cars and the best jewelry in the world and hundreds of industrial uses. So providing investors with the insight to understand the value of this metal is extremely important. And it's been a neglected asset class. The price has been pretty awful for many years. And we think at the moment there's some interesting demand drivers that make this an asset class definitely worth considering. Our information that we provide is for free. Anybody logging onto our website can get a free analysis of the global platinum supply and demand. We produce quarterly information that makes us a bit unique. It's quite an interesting asset class and a great opportunity for retail investors.
Well, what's unique about it?
So I suppose the fact that you've got something that can clean the emissions out of your car and is still the world's best jewelry, well, that's quite interesting. And I suppose if you look at platinum, it's heavier than gold. It's as resistant. And the only reason it hasn't been around for 3,000 years is the melting point. Gold melts at about 1,400, platinum at about 1,700, and they could only really melt it at the turn of the century. So to have something that its mere presence makes chemical reactions work. And in the industrial space, for example, if you need more food in the world, you need more fertilizer, you need more nitric acid, and every nitric acid plant in the world uses platinum gauze to make nitric acid. So as the demand for food goes up, the demand for platinum goes up. So it's kind of a metal that you can get your head around in terms of supply and demand and actually take a value view on this. And right now, it's cheaper compared to gold than it's been since 1980. And it's cheaper against itself. The last time platinum was at these levels in the ensuing 2 years, it nearly doubled in price on both occasions.
You know, I think what I get out of listening to you is it's almost an orphan metal.
Orphan is putting it mildly. It's the other headwind it has is that in 2015, you might remember VW got caught with the cheating on emissions in the US. And that emission scandal caused rather a lot of negative publicity around diesels, and that continued into Europe. So a lot of people are thinking that diesel cars are over, battery cars will take over, and therefore platinum isn't needed. On the contrary, we believe that it's going to be far more in demand, but the information hasn't quite come out yet. In terms of orphans, the price, everybody's ignoring it, and that's always a good time to get in.
Competitive advantage, you tell me.
So I suppose the competitive advantage, again, comes back to the metal. Here is something that you can get your head around and understand. It's undervalued significantly, and the information is more readily available. By us being in existence, we've been able to explain to investors that the low price experienced was really a market overhang that couldn't be seen, give them the information that's available, and make this market more understandable.
So your general campaign is to bring the word of platinum to investors and to the general public.
Well, that's actually interesting. That's why we can get into a lot of forums. So we're product agnostic. We don't mind that if somebody wants to invest in platinum, whether they hold a bar or a coin, an exchange-traded fund or a future or an equity, we really don't mind. As long as they understand the asset class and it can be explained, that gives us the advantage. As I said, we've got a very wide audience that takes us from the man in the street all the way through to central banks. So the IMF agreed to see us and understand whether or not platinum was suitable for a central bank to have as a reserve asset. And they've accredited us as an expert to contribute. They said to us they don't prescribe, and if enough central banks own platinum, they would consider including it. They also pointed out that they never told any central bank to own equities, but as soon as enough central banks held equities, they put it on their list. So quite a wide audience that we get access from the man in the street through to central banks. It's quite a wide target audience.
Is it like silver and gold that people buy it and hold it?
Absolutely. So it's just as precious. It's heavier than gold and looks better than gold and silver. And you can own it in US Eagle coin, Canadian Maple coin. In fact, there's plenty of coins that have been produced around the world in bars. And then the exchange traded fund is quite unique. Most people that know ETFs, they're backed by other products or derivatives or equities. This is actually backed by physical metal. So if you go and if you want to buy platinum today, there's at least 13 listed products in New York, London, and you're buying it, and really you're getting a share in a company whose only asset are bars of platinum sitting in a vault. So it's pretty good security. It's a physical asset. You might think equities are overpriced at the moment. This is an alternative thing to consider.
So from a Forex standpoint, can you also trade platinum?
Yes, you can. So the NYMEX Futures Exchange is where platinum is traded, and many large institutional investors will take a position in futures.
And is there growth in trading in platinum? Because gold has gone through the roof in trading. Silver is trading. Where does it fit in the scale of trading?
Okay, so to put it in context, this is quite a small market. If you look at the gold physically backed ETF, it went from $40 billion up to $80 billion. Platinum at the moment is only about $2.5 billion. So it's a small market. It's an $8 billion market. Of that supply, 6 million ounces comes from primary mining, 2 million from recycled auto catalysts, typically. And on demand side, an 8 million ounce market's not that big. So the trading has included, obviously, of the demand, between 2% and 11% has been investment, and that's really our challenge. We need to get to investors around the world and let them know that this is an asset class that can be understood, easily accessed, and has potential for quite a significant re-rating given its current valuations.
So Trevor, let's get your website out for more information for our investor audience, please.
Great, thanks Shelley. We're platinuminvestment.com. Anybody subscribing can get freely available information on supply and demand on platinum, and welcome to access that anytime.
Ladies and gentlemen, this Wall Street View is with Trevor Raymond of the World Platinum Investment Council. It's a private company. I'm Shelley Craft. This is SNN Live, and we're coming to you live at the Sprott Symposium 2018 in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I want to thank you for coming on to SNN Live.
Thank you, Shelley. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thanks very much.